There's a lot of hype out there about this season, about the Chiefs and everybody else. I'm going to tell you tonight what's real and what isn't, because it's all open. You never know what's going to happen. We're going to get into it tonight on RGR Football. I hope you guys are ready, because here we go. Welcome back, everybody. It's Chief in the North night here on RGR Football. I'm glad that you made it. If you don't know us, this channel is about the Chiefs and the rest of the league as they overlap and where they come from. There's a lot to go over. Seth is actually on his way home. Not going to make it in time for the show, but you got me, and we're going to go over what I think is the part that people aren't getting enough of. There's hype for the Raiders. There's hype for the Chargers. All the hype seems to be going down for the Kansas City Chiefs on the national media. I'm going to tell you why they're wrong and why we're right and what it's going to come down to. And it really starts and ends with Patrick Mahomes and the evolution that he has to go through, but that he is more than capable of. That's really what it all comes down to, is rotating this thing back around so that Patrick is a distributor of the football and not just a deep shot artist, which he certainly will still be able to do. But it is about the evolution of the team on offense as a whole. Now, for those of you that were betting on Seth to be wearing black tonight, I made sure that I wore something black just so you guys feel better. Oh, and the hat's gray too. So, oh no, it's colors. If you happen to be a Raiders fan, be nice. We had somebody start off already. Our fearless moderator, I'm sure, will be here later, Liz. And you got to listen up to her, because she will kick you out if not. So I want to go over a couple of things that are really at the key of why the Chiefs aren't getting this hype. And then we'll get to some of your questions tonight as well. I am starting to stack those up. I hope you guys are doing well. Now, having the quarterback is the end all be all. It is the icing on the cake, is the thing that takes you from good team to a great team. But it's also the thing that you have to make sure that you keep feeding. It's a beast that you have to keep feeding. And in the end, how you do that is a number of different ways. It doesn't always have to be the same direction. It doesn't always have to be the same game plan or the same style. And that's really what it comes down to. And in the end, the Chiefs are in such a good position with Patrick Mahomes. You can't really blame them, because, hey, there's a lot that could go on that's a lot worse. In fact, they could be the Cleveland Browns, who today decided to sign Josh Rosen. And if you want to hear a little bit about some of those things, the other way you can support us now is by checking out our other site, and that is about the NFL, not Chiefs-centric. I'm doing some pods over there. Dan's writing articles. We have the whole thing laid out from film to written to pod. Eventually, there'll be video over there as well, and Dan's going to join us here in a minute. I just want you guys to get a look at that, because a lot of folks haven't had a chance. Go over there, and I'd like you all to subscribe if you would. Super easy. You can subscribe for free, or you can subscribe for the payer side, where you get a little bit more in-depth articles and a little more access, and that supports us. If you want to support us here, the super chats are always open, and I guarantee you I will answer every super chat tonight, no matter what. I'll try to get to a lot of the others as well. One-man show for now, but Dan's just about to join us in, and I am racking up some of these questions. Let's add him. There he is. How you doing, Dan?
I'm doing fantastic. Rookies report tomorrow. I'm happy.
And that's kind of why, like, Seth was like, hey, I'm not gonna make it. I'm running late. He's got, the things that he does outside of football that are slowing him down tonight. And that's okay, because it's all anticipation tonight. That's really the number one thing going on. And I'm digging that myself, and I know you are too. So thanks for jumping on. I know it was last second, but it's the way things work, right?
Work is work, man. We do what we can.
So in the end, my whole thesis is that this isn't just Patrick. This is about the evolution of the offense. And I think that's why it's not getting enough hype. I think that's why it's not up there with the rest of the AFC West. And everybody wants to talk about, all the national heads want to talk about how they came to get the Chiefs. Well, nobody's gotten them yet. Until you play ball games, you can't say that they've caught anything. So I don't know. How are you feeling about it?
It's always fun. Like, we get to see now the reason that the Chiefs locked down Patrick Mahomes for 10 years at $500 million is because guess what? Every quarterback, oh, by the way, they have to get paid too. So we're like 2 years removed from that contract now, and it's like Kyler Murray just got absolutely the bag.
Yeah.
The bag. And guess what? Lamar's getting 50 a year next because that's just what it is. That's just what it is. So the Chiefs were smart. They knew that they had to do it first. They had to be the first. And guess what? Now everyone's looking at, oh, that was really smart. That was a good yeah. Oh, ideas, really. Like they knew what they were doing almost. It was awesome. So yeah, I'm happy that Mahomes is never going to be anywhere else. He will retire a Chief. I can say that with 97% confidence. And I'm pretty happy about that.
Yeah, as you should be, as we all should be. In the end, that's what makes the difference. Evening, Stevie's in the house, everybody. You can see Stevie on the Roguehead Huddle as well as on Back Talk Bros that you want to check on their channel as well. And if you guys would, give us an update. How did you guys like Gary's latest from yesterday? Gary McKenzie recently joined us, new contributor to the channel. For those of you who don't know us, let me just say this out loud for everybody who's seen Chat Sports and the BS that they do. Let's just put it this way. If you want just a news rundown, go watch them. If you want to actually know how it works and what's actually happening, make sure you come back to RGR because a lot of folks seem to get us confused and try to compare us. It's nothing like it. Chat Sports is I am calling them out today because I'm a bit tired of some of the antics that I see. There are good people doing good work like us that actually help you understand what's going on the field around Kansas City, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm just asking you guys to think about what you're watching because I've gotten a couple of really disturbing DMs this week that I had to address. No, I'm not part of that organization. No, I never have been, nor will I.
No.
So no, we are not anywhere near the same or working together or in any capacity whatsoever. So, check out people that do their own work like Cole, like KCSN, like all of us that are doing it out here on our own. So that said, okay, my rant is over. You get a little mini rant from me tonight. It's not a large one, just a little bit,
I think we should have Ryan do his own members video on Chat Sports. Just the whole thing. I would love it. I would absolutely love it.
Dude, the members would run away like you've never heard so many F-bombs in 1 minute if I did that. We'll talk about that later. Someday, folks. And I do see a ton of you guys in here and putting in the questions. We are going to get to those too. But this whole concept of like right now it's like the anticipation is cresting because tomorrow the quarterbacks and the rookies report. You're going to see in the next 48 hours all these throw at the wall, really, ideas of what's going to happen and who's going to be the winner and who's the leader here. It's all BS. Nothing matters until you see it on the field. So like the time for prognosticating, which we do too, we try to make an educated look at what we think is going to happen. That's all out the window now because now it's happening. This is the eve of the season, and I'm really excited that the Chiefs are kind of laying low and they're not getting the attention. And I think that lets them kind of work in their own space without the spotlight. Do you think it even matters to the team, or is it just me that likes that?
I think that it's just you. Like right now, I still think they're in that early mode where they don't have to take everything that's being said and use it for motivation. We know that Patrick does. That's been very evident that he remembers. He's always going to remember because that's the competitor in him. He's very reminiscent of Tom Brady and the guys that have done that for years because he does never forget. Like he's never going to. He keeps a record of these things. But the team, I think, is still relatively young. They're trying to prove themselves, and I think that that's going to be an important part of the growth of this entire team going forward. It's going to get younger. It's going to get more hungry. I think that is more important than the older guys just trying to find more evidence to get themselves in that headspace. When you have young guys that are around, you kind of have all of it together. Like they're hungry. So it kind of, in a reverse way, it feeds to the older guys. And at least that's how I view it. I could be completely wrong about that. And if there are any Chiefs watching this, let me know how wrong I am. That's fine. I'm okay with that. It's not a big deal. So yeah, I'm excited about the youth and the injection of being hungry again, because last year I didn't feel it. There were teammates, players on the team making business decisions, trying, not always hustling to that end of that final whistle. And I think that's going to be removed for a large part this season.
I hope so. I think that's got to be a little more. It's got to be a little more uniform all the way around. Like
Yeah.
the effort level, I think you will see change. I'm not really anticipating having to deal with any like lack. Everybody that you could even question really has a sense of urgency for either ring time, legend time. Like, what is your legacy going to be? Or they're up for contracts. Like it's a good year for everybody to be really hyper motivated in their own right, let alone for the team. So I'm feeling pretty good about that. The hiccup is going to be the people that want to tell you that Patrick Mahomes is not as good as the other quarterbacks. If you guys saw Gary's piece yesterday, it really, I thought, illustrated very, very well just the comparison that, yes, there's a race to be the top quarterback, but it's not to be number one. It's to be number two, and that is Allen and Burrow. It's not Mahomes because he is alone at the top. And I think feeding everything back to that, setting him up more and more and more is what we're kind of laying low on. And Andy, I think, has had this kind of plan that if I give him more weapons and I allow him to pick and choose and not have to look at an area of the field or a particular target that they're able to take away, he's going to be able to just cook and just roll with whatever they throw at him. And I think, as much as I think Mahomes has an insight to that, I do think that comes from Andy Reid.
Yeah, you're not wrong. I think that he's been the orchestrator of, I mean, Andy's the reason this entire organization flipped. Like, he's the reason he brought everything in. He's laid the groundwork and he's done everything to get here. So I don't disagree. It's always been Andy, and the way that they always replace guys with people that he trusts, and not just in the coaching staff, but in the front office. Like, he's Bill Belichick without being Bill Belichick. He has his hands everywhere. He does everything. At least that's what we assume. We don't ever get confirmation of that. We know that Bill Belichick does everything in New England because of the way that the roster is constructed. Yes. Like, we've always seen the idiosyncrasies in the way that he constructs it. But Andy has always been very in front of the scenes, behind the scenes. We know, at least we assume that he's got his hands everywhere, but they do a very good job of, one, keeping things under wraps and not letting anyone know who holds all the cards at any singular moment. So that it's always been that way. And I know that whenever Andy decides that he's going to hang it up and be done, whenever that is, that this organization will feel that loss. But I do believe that he's going to not only have that structure set up in place before that, everything will be in good hands afterwards. So I'm assuming it's not going to be for a few more years yet, but Andy Reid is phenomenal. I love him.
I think I'm ready. And Stevie, shout at me if I need to do something. I'm only catching some of what's going on in the chat, so sorry if I'm a little distracted. And at the end of the day, it's all going to come down to this is the starting point. This is where the evolution begins. It's not the end of it. It's not just what's been planned. It's how they adapt. And I will put my money on Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid more than anybody else in this league at taking starting point and being able to move the line to where they need it in order to be successful. In the end, that's what rolls down. But I want to know what you guys think. Like, just how good is that pair? Yeah. And just how fun is tomorrow going to be? Matt's going to be out in the heat. We'll have a report from him over. I'm going to do a live tomorrow night for RGR, for Locked On, not for RGR, from training camp reports. Who picks up the mantle? Who does Sherm's thing? And like, I don't know. Does the crazy arrival? I don't know.
I mean, I would imagine it has to be Burton, right? Like, I feel like just make it a fullback thing.
Feels like it should be, right?
Yeah, right.
My money's on either Bucker or Frank. That's my thought. So hey.
I wouldn't be surprised for that to be Bucker.
Right?
I wouldn't be surprised.
So let us know what you got. Who makes the biggest flare tomorrow? Leave that in the chat, please. Especially if you're watching this on rewatch. Put that in the comments, and that always helps. Make sure you like this video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. I know there's a lot of new viewers out there all the time because I see how many new people come. Awesome. Let's up the subscriptions, folks. Let's join us. Become a sub. That always helps.
All it takes is a button. It's just a button, guys. Just one button.
Super easy. And then you'll actually know more about what's going on with your favorite team or a team that you're interested in. Maybe it's not your favorite team. That's okay. We'll let you all in. It's fine. We're going to start in on the questions and see where we get to tonight. And I know this one was for Seth. He apologizes, but we'll take care of it instead. For MBS being big, fast wide receiver, we hoped. Will he be the guy that we hoped Mark Boerter would be in 2002 to 2004? I don't know. It's a possibility. But again, because of the way they've stacked this wide receiver group, it is possible that he is also part of a thing that defenses pay attention to because of his OTA success. And maybe he has a great preseason. But that opens up McCole and Juju. And I think you're never going to get away from them concentrating on Travis Kelce. So it will become, I think, whoever pops his head out first as kind of the leader, as the top wideout, is going to draw a lot of attention because teams are used to trying to double that thing and pay attention to the top two. And then it's up to Patrick to get the next guy down. And who steps up and does the most of that? I don't know. Could be Juju. Could be Jody Fortson for all I know.
Who knows? This is an interesting dynamic because this is a brand new. So there's now a wide receiver alpha position available, and you have guys that can take it. Like this is up for grabs. It's a lot like the back end of the running back roster outside of Clyde. Who's going to take that RB2, RB3? Like we're going to find that out. But these wide receivers, there's a lot of guys that are going to be coming in that haven't played in the system before. McColl's here in a prove-it year. Really, 100%. This is a contract year for McCole Hardman. And obviously, you also have Sky Moore, a young guy trying to get himself in here. And then you have the end of roster guys. Whoever's going to end up making it, are you going to be able to flash in camp and keep that on through preseason and get yourself some playing time? Because there's no guaranteed playing time on this roster. There's none. If you guys prove, I mean, maybe MVS to an extent because of the contract, but even then, his contract is really just 2 years. So at the end of the day, like, go get yourself the playing time. This is all about being hungry, earning your keep now. This is not a Tyreek Hill runs everything and everyone else just kind of fight for the scraps behind it. You guys see everything in front of you, go for it and get it. So I'm excited.
Yeah, you want it, take it. Make it yours. Be the best target you can be for Patrick Mahomes. That's what it all comes down to. Swag Boy, thank you for your question. Your prediction, how many rings do you think Mahomes can get by the time he retires? It's a great question.
So I want to start this off by saying discount everything that Tom Brady's done. We have to take that out. Much like the greats of other sports, like don't compare people to Wayne Gretzky, things like that. You have to take them out. What Brady has done should never be the goal, because it's going to be impossible. You're setting yourself up for failure for 6 rings. It's not. It's just, I think 3 should be not just the expectation, but the goal. Okay. I think that is a great foundation. Peyton Manning only got 2. Some of the greats only ever get 1. So I think 3 still sets you apart with all the rest of the accolades we assume he's going to get. So I'm going to say 3.
It's funny. You and I had a similar thought, and we didn't discuss this ahead of time, folks. I said the same thing because I actually think Joe Montana was the better quarterback than Brady, but obviously didn't have that kind of success, didn't lead that many Super Bowl teams. So for me, for Patrick to be up there in that kind of stratosphere, 4 would be the goal, to get in that kind of Terry Bradshaw range, Joe Montana range, those kind of things. So we're not very far off, but that also, I think, illustrates the fact that Patrick, anytime he's on the field for a season, you have a shot.
Yep,
and
always.
It is about, do you give him a defense? Do you give him the weapons to support him? I think, honestly, had the defense been better last season, it would have at least ended in a trip to the Super Bowl, if not a win. Nobody's really easy at stopping Aaron Donald, so I can't say.
Yeah.
But I'd probably give Joe Tooney and Creed Humphrey a better upside than most. So I can't say that it would have been the same outcome.
I mean, who knows? And not just that, but maybe OBJ doesn't get hurt in that game. Like it's
right.
Maybe just because that butterfly effect. If the Chiefs beat the Bengals, maybe OBJ doesn't get hurt, and anything could have happened. And so we can't just assume that would have happened. But I do think they would have had a great chance to win that game, regardless of who ends up playing, because that's just how it works. You always have a good chance.
Yeah. Has Brown made it hard to open cap space for DE help because this year he didn't accept the offer? I mean, yes, but that wasn't his goal. He didn't do that. That wasn't what he was trying to do. He's trying to do the best he can for him, and that's honestly his job. Did it in the meantime limit some of the things they can do? Yes.
So I actually looked at the over the cap. They have put in his cap number because they
did.
Yeah. So everything that's on there, the $13 or $14 million that they have in cap space, is with Orlando Brown's contract. So they actually do have space.
And the rookies are all signed. So basically you just have like the $5 or $6 million that Veach always keeps as emergency money for injury replacement, that kind of thing. So if you can get the Bears to like take part of Quinn's deal, you could maybe get that done. If you wanted to go sign Carlos Dunlap, you can get that done. Beyond that, it'd have to be a rookie contract that you trade for if you guys are still thinking trade. And that's really where it gets a little bit itchy. Not many teams are going to trade away a rookie contract, especially for that position. But it is what it is. Thank you, Canadian Chief. Appreciate your question and for you being here. Great pod. Thank you, Micah. Have you seen the pics on Instagram of Justin Ross in the walking boot with a walker?
I have.
Thoughts? I have as well. What are your thoughts, Dan?
So this is pretty much what Ryan and I have talked about since he was drafted. We saw him in those OTAs, those rookie OTAs, he was practicing. And if you're in a walking boot after that while you were running, it's very clear that he's no longer healthy. He re-aggravated something, or I wouldn't put it past the Chiefs to say, hey, you're going to be at this event. Go ahead and put that boot on. I know you got lying around the house. I know you got that walker around the house. I wouldn't put it past them to just kind of slip that to him because they want to keep him on the IR, the rookie IR. But in my opinion, it's that he did re-aggravate his foot injury, and that is what's going to allow them to keep him on IR all season, which is my expectation.
It could absolutely be that. I will say this too. I don't know when those shots were taken, just because they came out
2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago? Okay. It is a very real possibility that he did aggravate it, and it is just precautionary. Some doctors will put you in a boot just so you don't continue to stress it.
That wouldn't shock me.
I would not be surprised, too, to see him report for camp, maybe tomorrow, and be on the sidelines for a week or two, and then they try to give him another go. And then it will be, how does his body react to that? Because quite frankly, the foot's not the only problem.
Nope.
But if we do start to hear reports about a specific injury, then we know he's headed for IR, and that's okay. That's development time that I think he will use to his utmost. Pono, welcome back. How much time does Andy give CH before he pulls the plug and names a new number one? Sorry, Dan. 17 games?
I was about to say that you're looking at 2022 into 2023. Like Clyde will be the starter this year. That's kind of how it's going to be. With Darrell Williams out of the way, that was his biggest hurdle to climb. And with his release and him not being come back, that tells me that they feel at least comfortable enough that this season is you got your shot. Okay.
Yeah.
Darrell was the guy that we had just in case, you got hurt or you couldn't handle it. And then last year you did get hurt. You had the gallbladder thing, working it back. And then Darrell took over, had his, 1,000 yards from scrimmage. And then they said, okay, you're healthy. You got an off season. They probably revisited this off season and said, all right, we're comfortable. We don't think we need the safety net that is Darrell Williams. And they bring in a guy who's a good goal line back, a home run hitter who's going to, be more a change of pace, in my opinion. And they re-signed Jarek as a guy who can come in on third downs if you need him, and also in case Clyde gets hurt. Boom, right there. So I'm very comfortable this year with Clyde. They're going to give him the keys and say, look, this is your year. Basically, you gotta stay healthy, and you gotta earn it, because other than that, they'll be looking for a new starting running back after this year if you can't.
But I'll tell you this too, Pono. Like, Andy loved him coming out. He loves what he has as potential. The injuries have slowed him to the point where Andy's going to give him every chance he can. I don't think Andy will pull the plug on him unless there's an injury where he shuts him down for the year. So no, I think it'll always be, he's going to give him every chance to click, to hit that big play that opens up the rest of his season, that opens up the rest of his career. Like, Andy's going to give him every chance. But like Dan said, if it doesn't happen this year, you will see a new running back. Just the way that it's going to be. John S., hope you're doing well. Love the logo. If Chiefs win Super Bowl, who do you predict makes this happen? Conversely, if the Chiefs don't make the playoffs, what happened? If the Chiefs don't make the playoffs, Patrick Mahomes got hurt.
Yep. That's what it is. Like, that's exactly what it is.
Yeah, I mean, there's very few things that can make them not make the playoffs. This is a 10-win team as long as Patrick is upright, period.
He drags teams. 2018, it feels like no one remembers the league worst defense that he had, that he was just dragging that team to wins and stuff. So he's he's going to be in position.
Yeah. And if they hadn't gotten the weapons, or if we didn't know that he had multiple options to get the ball to,
Yeah.
If Tyreek had departed and they hadn't gotten a starter level replacement, then I'd say, okay, we should be worried because Patrick can't do literally everything on the field. But that's not the case. Now, if they make it to the Super Bowl, what has happened is that you've had multiple receivers stand up and make plays for him, whether it's balls that aren't, perfectly thrown. Every now and then he'll put one behind somebody on a back shoulder. Every now and then he'll put one low. But it will be guys that have stepped up and made plays when he needed them to. I hope, and I actually expect, that we're going to see more 50-50 balls from Patrick Mahomes this year. And that will play into those receivers going up and making those plays as well.
Yep.
And the other thing that will happen if they do make this Super Bowl, it will be because the defense was able to get more pressure than it did last year. And by getting more pressure, they stop more drives. The key is drives. If you take drives away from the other team and end in either punt or turnover, you win. Because Patrick with 8 drives a game is going to score 5 times. It's just what's going to happen. Whether they're field goals or touchdowns makes a difference. Mm-hmm. But if the defense limits and takes away drives from the opponent, that's how they're going to win ball games.
Like the defense had the Bills, wherever they wanted them last year, in 4 fourth-down situations. They converted every single one of them. I mean, at the end of the day, you can get some pressure, but you need to continuously get pressure because they're going to be able to get more teams in fourth-down situations where they can't just always go for it.
Yeah.
Like, that's the point.
Although I wonder if head coaches around the league are going to be more and more pressed to go for it, even though it's a situation.
But those fourth downs will be instead they'll be ending in sacks on that third down. Like that's what I'm talking about. It's
gotcha.
Like it's not going to be like a 4th and 6. Oh yeah, we go for that. It'll be like 4th and 10, 4th and 15, and teams will be like, well, we have to, but are we going to be able to get it done?
Fair enough. Kevin, when did the Chiefs start possibly searching for Mahomes' future replacement? 2028, 2029. That'd be 3 years left on his contract, something like that. But in the meantime, they will continue to not only bring in rookie UDFAs, they will draft more quarterbacks.
Yeah,
because Chad Henne is getting older. If he's not at the end of the tunnel, he can see it from here.
Chad, he gave everything he had. That run against the Browns, that was
right.
It.
That was it.
That was all right. I got this in my tank, guys. That's it.
So I definitely look for Brett Veach and Andy Reid to take the Belichick trail on this and keep drafting young quarterbacks, try to develop them as the backup and trade them off. I do see that happening. It is a solid plan when you have the best quarterback in the league. Jeremy, injuries mounting up for Ross. So should we cut ties or use the IR? Use the IR because you never know.
With that kind of talent, there's no reason not to.
He's got talent. He's like physically, he's matured a little bit since he was a freshman when he was an all-star, like the best receiver in football. But quite frankly, some guys are late bloomers or late to really solidify. Look at Frank Gore, had the college ACLs and then was an Ironman. Like there's a possibility of that out there. So I would not cut ties at all. That's what IR and practice squad are for. Just use it to the best of your ability. Travis, why, if Orlando Brown Jr. has not signed any contracts with the Chiefs, is he obligated to play only for the Chiefs this year? Because they placed the franchise tag on him. It is part of the collective bargaining agreement, the CBA. The Chiefs can designate a franchise tag guy and a transition tag guy, which guarantees that they have the right to match any offer and nobody else can make them an offer for the franchise tag. Once the deadline has expired, he can only play for Kansas City. It's part of the league rules, Travis. Tom, how are you doing, buddy? It's going well for us. Stoked for the disrespected disco Chiefs 2022 season. I like that. We need like the spinning mirror ball and stuff like in the locker room. I like that.
I'd love it.
A pissed off Patrick Mahomes is something I'm here to see. Thank you very much.
Scorched earth, baby.
Right? Yeah, exactly. Micah, thank you, sir. Thoughts on Tyron being ranked number 1 safety for Madden with a 95 rating? I laughed. Who cares?
I don't care, dude. No offense, Micah. I know that.
No.
I don't care about I don't care about Madden ratings. Like I could care less.
Let's be real. For all of you from EA that are watching, we know it's a popularity contest. It's not film review that tells you this. But no, Mike, I didn't even know that until you said it. It doesn't matter. I mean, hey, You build yourself a Ryan Tracy as a fullback, give him a 99. It's perfect.
Can you even do that anymore?
I don't know. The last one I bought. Oh, no, the family bought me last year's with him and Brady on it.
Oh yeah, I do have that one on the Game Pass.
I never played it. My Xbox went out, and I just got a replacement a couple months ago, and I still haven't played it. Maybe someday. It's like I've been busy. King J25. Now that Kyler Murray got signed to a huge contract, what does it mean for Lamar Jackson? What were you thinking? You think it's 500?
No, he's going to get 50 per year. Like, didn't Kyler get 45?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think there was some loophole. It'll go down to like 43 unless he hits.
Yeah, these contracts are going to get aggressive. They're going to get confusing. They're going to get creative. But I believe that Lamar is going to get close to 50.
Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, and good for him, you know? I mean, he's chosen a very difficult road in representing himself. But, hey, you've been an MVP. Now I realize his non-MVP seasons are not what you want from a top-tier quarterback, but he's still got it in him. He's still young.
Yep.
I mean, hey, good for him. Tony, hope you're doing well. Hey, guys, what do you think the Chiefs will do if Orlando does not play or gets injured? Well, if he doesn't report, they don't really have to do anything. They retain his rights. If he decides not to play this season, third day of the new league year next year, they put the franchise tag right back on him. There's no way out for Orlando Brown except to play, period. If he gets injured, that's a different deal. The franchise tag is guaranteed, period. So they would be paying him out if he gets injured. And in that case, you'll have to look at the backups that we've been kind of talking about, like who could start in his stead. Cole, do you guys think the Spags will use Chanel like the Cowboys used Parsons last year and use him as an edge rusher? No.
I think at times he will be an edge rusher, but not in the traditional sense. Like you see hand in the dirt kind of guy.
Right. He's not going to line up as an end. That
I would prefer if at times they did, but this is Steve Spagnuolo's defense. So no, he's not going to. He's going to come off the edge and he'll still be a stand-up rusher, but he's not going to be, oh, hey, George, get off the field, or George, kick inside and let, you know.
Exactly.
They're not going to do that. He's going to be an extra blitzer.
There's three things that you can do with him that will be really effective because he isn't Micah Parsons. I know everybody's super excited. He's not Micah Parsons. It's not that close. He can do three things. He can overhang rush from a 2-point like Reggie Ragland used to do, exactly what Dan was just saying. You can drop him down in the gaps and rush him as a linebacker, and I think that's going to be really successful.
So fun.
Or you can do a replacement where he's like an edge defender outside of the end, and he rushes and the edge kind of drops like a replacement type rush where he would still be one of 4 rushers, but he just wouldn't be playing from that down defensive end position. That's what Micah did really well is Micah played off ball as aggressive as Chanel did and was very good at it, but he could rush off the edge in college. That's really the difference between them. Ready Whip, hope you're well. I think the second half of the season in the playoffs for McCole isn't talked about enough. If anything, he didn't get enough targets, in my opinion. That's fair. I would love to have seen him gotten more opportunity.
Yeah. I think that's I'm excited because I know that McCole has let a lot of people down, but I think he can really have a good year. They finally, just along with being able to use him as a Z receiver this year, they found out a lot of creative ways to make him be successful and get his own confidence up. I think that showed last year. That touchdown against the Bills in the playoffs, that was a hell of a touchdown. He decelerated so quickly and then reaccelerated. People just kind of forget 2 guys ran right by him, and he finally figured out how to do it. Like it was
that old one from Top Gun. I'm gonna hit the brakes. He's gonna fly right by.
Exactly. Like it was great. I loved seeing that. And honestly, if he has bulked up a little bit, it's going to only help him in some of these situations. So I'm really excited about McCole's 2022 season.
I kind of am too.
I'm ready to get hurt again, guys. I'm ready.
I hope he's ready.
I'm
ready.
Too.
I hope he is. Steve, have Orlando's demands and behavior turned you off as far as his future in KC? Like, turned me off? Not really. Has it made me doubt whether it get done? A little bit. But the real question is, he turned anybody off in that organization? the rumors that they're saying that they're disappointed and frustrated. If that's real, and there's no way to know, and don't even start with me about the guys that are reporting all this other outlandish BS. If Brett Veach is in that situation and feels like that, then yeah, that's problematic for his future in KC, because that means the negotiations are not going to soften. They're going to get more difficult.
Yeah, you guys, if you remember, Ryan and I were one of the people did not want them to trade for Orlando Brown because we knew, one, that he was going to end up wanting to be paid, and because didn't necessarily thought he fit what they wanted to do. Now, they've made it work. Mahomes has figured out his strengths and weaknesses, and it'll be fine. It'll be fine. Like, if you end up figuring it out, that's good. It'll be good for them to have that continuity, and he will be a good offensive tackle. And that's okay. Yeah. It's okay to not be the best, even though you want to be paid as the best. That's what we have to remember, is that these guys are going to get paid. If he plays this season, he plays well like he did end of last year, he will be paid. You don't have to worry about left tackle, and it will be fine.
I hope he can live up to his own expectations, because they're a little far-reaching.
Yeah, they are. And I think that we have to remember that.
Yeah.
Like, fans need to remember that. Like,
and I'm rooting for him, because if he can reach his potential, he could be as good as his dad, and then it would be that good.
Yeah.
But he's not there yet, and that trail has to be climbed. You don't get just to run up to the top. You know what I mean?
And that's the biggest thing. And Casey knew he didn't play like that. So when you want top market value, you got to play ball a little bit. You got to do it.
Yeah, there's no way around it. It just is what it is. Could you simulcast the live? I can try to do that on both channels at once. It'll look like Locked On, but I can probably feed it over here. I'll see what I can do. I think there's a feature in StreamYard to do that. I will check you out. If not, then I'll probably jump on here and give you guys a couple minutes too, just like reaction and that kind of thing. So those of you that are Locked On Chiefs listeners, don't worry that there's not going to be a show tonight. It will be up tomorrow afternoon for the Friday show like normal. Paddock, hey guys, I developed my predicted 53 as of today. I only have one spot on each offense and defense. Who's your last guy on both sides right now? Who's the last guy onto the roster for offense and defense?
It's going to be Cornell Powell. It's going to be on my offense. Cornell Powell's last guy.
Okay,
I'm telling you, I'm not giving up. I'm not giving up. And then the last guy in is going to be on the other side. I think is going to be Justin Watson or Jalen Watson.
Are they? Oh, Jalen Watson. Okay, I was like, Justin, that's the same.
Yeah, no.
Okay,
Jalen Watson.
Okay, I like Jalen. I think he's a practice squad last guy on defense.
I think he is too, but I think he might have some surprises in training camp.
I think he can too, and I really like his game. I just think he needs a little seasoning. I think he barely loses out to DiCaprio Boodle. He's my last guy on defense.
I would love to see Boodle on the team. I would. I'd love it.
And I think Boodle's got the special teams edge. Is why I say that.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna be optimistic and say that Ross recovers, and he makes that push and makes it.
Interesting. That's bold. That's a bold. I like it.
I'm okay being wrong. I'm optimistic, and I hope that it happens. Ryan, do you think Pacheco will be like Jamal Charles? No.
Nope.
And that's not to poo-poo you, Gary. You know me. I'm not trying to belittle your opinion. I just will never call anyone like Charles. There won't be another one unless you get a perennial track dude that like actually has vision and instinct, because that combination is so rare. But he might be a guy that gives you a little shot in the arm speed wise when he gets an opportunity.
Yep.
I got to see more vision though. I got to see a lot more vision though.
There isn't much right now. Like, there's none. He is like, nothing is there. I'm kicking it outside. I don't care. I'm going. Like, that's what he did. And I got no issues with that at Rutgers when you're trying to get drafted.
Sure.
I got no issues. You have no offensive line help. You're trying to make a play. Okay. But you got to do your job. Your job is to find a hole and then kick it outside, not be like, no, I'm going.
Yeah. See yous. Alex, does Mahomes have more rushing yards this season than he's ever had? Lamar or Mahomes? I certainly hope not. I don't think so. For me, this offense needs to be about tempo and delivery and breaking the pocket when you have to. And that should limit his just go get a first down and reset the chains for the most part. Or like that, what was that one? It was it Cincy or the Bills? Like, he just kind of leaked out, was thinking he was going to be able to make a pass from outside the pocket, and he had like 30 yards wide open.
Yeah.
Okay, take it. But I don't think so, Alex. At least not yet. Let me
I
see how
think
bad the line works.
Yeah, I think 300 should be about where he finishes every single year. Like that's going to be pretty normal because he does want to make plays with his legs. He's good at it. He knows how to do that. So I think 300 to 400 is probably what we're seeing.
Okay, I'm with you. What would you do to address the left tackle predicament?
I mean, I guess I don't right now. I don't think they're in a predicament. I think that they're set for right now, like this season. Next year, I'm going to franchise tag him again. And then if he plays okay, like he did last year, I'm going to say, okay, I'll give you 21 and a half, and I'll bump up your guarantees. And then he'll probably sign that contract.
Yeah, he'll probably have a new agent by then, is my guess. So
I would hope so.
Steven, in what Dan is saying is that he expects Orlando to play.
I do.
That's why he's saying it's not a predicament. I happen to agree. And Orlando's got to play for his own benefit and his kids' benefit.
I'm telling you guys right now, if he even thinks about holding out and Joe Thuney gets at left tackle or anybody else, and they win a game by like 20, like if they win the opener by 20 points and Mahomes isn't sniffed by anybody, his value immediately drops. Immediately. There's nothing he can do to get that back.
Yeah.
Period.
That's true. It's really difficult when you allow the light to be shed that, hey, maybe you don't need me, because that's what he's been saying all season. You guys need your left tackle. And okay, we get it.
Yeah.
You're not the only left tackle in the league there, buddy. So I don't know. Do you guys see MVS being a burner or becoming more of an all-around wideout?
He hasn't done it to this point. Unfortunately, I don't see it happening this year, but maybe a little bit more utilized.
I was going to say, I think he can expand his dynamic a little bit by being more of a 50-50 guy.
Mm-hmm.
But that is akin to being more of the burner, the stretcher, the put it up and let him run under it kind of thing, Daniel. Chiefs, on a scale of 1 to 10, what's your confidence in Mahomes, post Andy and Travis? Do you think Andy will be more or less handpick his successor? Yes, Andy will pick his successor. I feel like his relationship with Clark will predetermine that. Mahomes, I mean, I have 9.5 out of 10. I have 95 out of 100 confidence in Mahomes. Now it'll go down to like 90.
I think by then he'll know everything he needs to know. And I think that's what Andy's waiting for, honestly. He's waiting until Mahomes gets to the point where he doesn't really need Andy, because Andy, one, he still loves doing this. I think it's very obvious that he loves to do this, and he knows it's coming. Like the point where he's not going to be the most, I don't know what happened to Ryan just there. His camera just shut off or something. But it's coming to the point where he thinks, at least in my opinion, that in the next few years, he might not love it anymore. And at that point, you can really just start looking for your successor. All right.
And a little flare.
There you go.
Sorry about that. Stevie was pointing out that that MVS does have the second most 40-yard plus receptions after Tyreek since 2018. It's a great stat.
Yeah.
You have that handy, Stevie. And when you have success like that, if you combine that with a little more upside, a little more 50-50 ball thing, I think you'll do that. But like running reverses and like the under like pivot routes and those kind, that's not his game.
No.
We're going to see that.
He's a back shoulder catcher. Like he can go and get some 50s every now and then. But his game predominantly with Aaron Rodgers has been kind of get in a blind spot, stack that corner a little bit, and let Rodgers pick where to throw it. And I think that's the one thing from Mahomes' game that he really will need going forward, is to find out and get a little bit more accurate downfield and pick those back shoulder throws or those leading receivers or those putting it to the inside. That's the one area I think he can really improve.
Yeah, there's a certain aspect to say that he's been a little spoiled with Tyreek.
Correct.
Because of how well Tyreek adjusts to the ball in the air.
Yeah.
Not everybody can do that stuff.
No.
Defensive adjustments you guys are looking for to see this season. Thank you, Kale.
Utilizing their speed on defense, I think, is going to be a good adjustment. Like they're younger, they're more athletic, they're faster. I think that they can, not that they would ever use more cover 3, cover things that actually would help this defense, but adjustments, Spags isn't going to like do anything different. He's still going to spread his safeties around. He's going to get crazy with them. And ideally, in a perfect world, he'd love to play some dime. Like he wants to get comfortable enough to play dime. Like that's what he wants to do. Like he's like, I want like 3 safeties on the field, 3 corners, and just get crazy with it.
I've got a few. I want to see more cloud 6 so that you can show 4 deep, play 3, or you can show 2 and play 3.
I would love some cover 4. Oh, I would love cover 4.
I want to see some double Robert. I want to invert underneath and stack in between the hashtags. I have to, if it's me, I'm taking down the percentage of DB blitzes and I'm upping the linebacker dogs
I like
dramatically. And I want to do some more full line stunts, not just the twist with 2 players, like where everybody's crashing one direction and you get the big looper. Like I think that could pay off for this group, especially with Karlaftis. I think he has ability to like ram through that line if everybody's slanted away. I don't know. Those are some of the things that I would do. Papa Bear, I saw someone say that the Lions say they may have the best O-line in the NFL this year. Could you even consider a comparison? Huh. Hi.
What's up, Dad? So,
hey, Pop.
Funny enough, I do cover the offensive line analysis for the fantasy community with what I do. So I have a good idea of what people are talking about. And the Detroit Lions actually do have a chance to be a top 5 offensive line this year. I thought they could have last year because, Decker is still a really, really good left tackle. People kind of forget that because they brought in Penny Sewell, who's going to be their right tackle this year. You have, last year they improved the pass protection. They finished the top 12 pass protection line and in the top half of the sacks allowed. That's good.
Left guard.
Left guard. Jonah Jackson is their left guard. Ragnar's their center, and then they have, I can't pronounce his name, Hala Pulavati is their right guard, who's been really good as well. So they actually have continuity, and then Sewell getting in there as well, getting better at right tackle is going to be important. So they do have a shot.
Okay, interesting. Thanks for dropping in, Pop. Nice to see you. Canadian Chief, thank you, sir. Hit the thumbs up button. Yes, please. If you would all hit the thumbs up, spread the word, get your family to join, get subbed up. Everybody wants to compare to who the big channels are. So let's keep this thing growing. Or else I'm going to have to throw more people under the bus. And that Dallas talk show host is going to be one of them. Could you see an increase in 2 tight end sets? Please, please, please.
You're going to see increase in 13 as well.
Been watching Man in the Arena, and Tom commentary mentioned a shift in their approach after losing in 2007. Thoughts? I have not seen that. I don't know the show.
It's one of the ESPN Plus things that they just it's like basically a documentary about his career, essentially. I haven't seen it yet, but it is on my to-do list. I think he's probably talking about the shift that the Kansas City Chiefs could take from that type of mentality, because after losing in 2007 with Randy Moss, things kind of changed for the Patriots, but they ended up losing to the Giants anyway. I mean, late in 2011, they lost to the Giants too. So I don't necessarily think that shift in mentality is what carried them. Tom Brady's mentality is what carried them to Super Bowls.
Fair enough.
That's what it was.
But I do like the shift to 2 tight end. Yeah. Exploit, especially with these teams that they're playing 4 deep, they're dropping 8. Exploit it. Get your tight ends on the roll, because especially if they want to play dime with all that deep coverage, make sure that you can have a matchup physically that you win. Yeah. I love that. Reed Ross, thank you, sir.
What up, Reed?
Been loving the content for years. Hey, how are the special teams looking? Thank you, Reed. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
The special teams are going to be a challenge. We're going to have to watch that very closely because a lot of the bottom end of the roster has changed. A lot of young depth, including Leo Chanel, will be on special teams, folks. Mm-hmm. I think he's going to be a terror there because of his athleticism. So,
you don't want to face him against like a kick coverage team. Oh my gosh, get out of the way.
Hey, maybe the 2 biggest hitters they drafted in the last 5 years in Brian Cook and Leo Chanel are going to be on special teams. This is going to be fun. I talked to Mike Burton about that last time he came on with me, and he's like, yeah, there's a lot of young guys that want to go hit. So it's going to be a lot of fun. And Reed, thank you for the support. Thank you for saying something. I'm glad you're here. Steven, can or should we trade for Becton? He was placed on the PUP. What it would take to get him? It would take a 1st round pick and then some. No,
and I would not trade for him. The Jets have had issues with him maintaining weight and being productive. You're not looking for no offense to Lucas Niang, another bigger overweight right tackle that hasn't been able to live up to their expectations. So I'm out.
Yeah, the injury history alone with him, he's great when active, but his injury, I would not go near that. You can't keep putting that money in a hole that you might not get it out of. Micah, do you think Spags will get creative with blitzes and send more LBs? I keep screaming for it, and I hope Steve. I know somebody from the staff has seen us lately, so I hope that they heard that. I've been only saying it for like 4 months, so I don't know.
I've been talking about jump balls for years. They haven't said anything.
Right?
So,
exactly.
I mean,
exactly. In the end, Spags is Spags, so
yeah,
we can hope. Cody, welcome. How good can Brian Cook be in this defense? How do I put this?
You're gonna get crazy with it.
I mean, he can be better than Bernard Pollard in this defense. He can be better than he can be better than Tyron was last year. He can't be better than Tyron was in the Super Bowl year, but he can be better than Tyron was last year.
Yeah, you're looking for we're looking at like peak Dan Sorensen, but better. Like that's what we're looking at. Like that's when he was at his best and coming in and being that guy that comes downhill a little bit, but delivers hits, but can still cover. Like the guy that made those flash plays, even last year, just more of them all the time. Like we're talking, like when they get into those 3 safety sets, he's going to be so much fun. Hell, I don't even care if they're not in base. Get him in base. I don't care. Get this, do whatever you have to do to get him out there. Like take one of the linebackers out, but go like half nickel, but it's 3 safeties. They could get crazy with some of that stuff. Use him as a third linebacker, but he's really a safety. There are so many ways you can use Brian Cook in this defense.
This is gonna sound grandiose.
Oh, here we go.
He could beat Jamal Adams.
Okay, he'll be a better version of the coverage aspect. Right. I don't know if he could ever be what Jamal Adams was at his peak, but I do see where you're coming from with that.
Now my wheels are turning.
Here we go. We got to
turn. Steven, other than winning the Super Bowl, what's your favorite Chiefs memory? Mine was Stoyanovic's 54-yarder. Go ahead, Dan. I got a cool one.
So I'm going to be very, very obvious because I'm still a relatively new Chiefs fan. Watched in 2003, but only really been able to consistently watch since the early 2010s-ish when I joined the military. So one of the coolest moments for me was Alex Smith's first playoff win against the Texans. I remember I was in a bar, or I think I was just at Buffalo Wild Wings with my wife, and we watched the return, like the kick return from Niles Davis. Like that's still one of my absolute favorite moments because we knew that it was finally over. Like they were finally going to win a playoff game, and that him returning that kick will always stick in my mind for that reason. It was the reason that Andy Reid came to Kansas City to turn over. Alex Smith was a part of it. Andy Reid did it, so it's always going to be a great one for me.
My favorite memory has nothing to do with a ball game. I was in grad school. I was coaching in Kansas, and I did an internship for the Chiefs. I went into the weight room one morning early, make sure that I was, I was the college kid. I made sure I was there early. And I got to meet 3 people in the space of 15 minutes that I never thought I would. Marty Schottenheimer and Gunther Cunningham were working out together before the team was working out. And I came in and sat with them for a few minutes. Wow. They were both super cool to me. Gunther was like, "You want to learn anything about defense, you just let me know." And I was a scrub strength conditioning intern. And then about 15 minutes later, Derek Thomas walked in. So, yeah. That was a good day.
There you go. That's good. Yeah.
There's my favorite.
I can get with that.
Do y'all see any surprise cuts this year? No one's gonna be surprised if Blake Bell gets cut. It might be his time.
It might, yeah. There's only like one person that comes to mind because I've really rethought the whole Fenton thing. If anything, he would get traded, so they wouldn't cut him. But I still think he's going to make the roster. I think maybe a surprise would be Rojo if he just doesn't play well. Like he doesn't produce. Like his contract is just $750,000 guaranteed. That's it. Like it's nothing. He could be cut tomorrow and no one would know. Like, no offense to him. I'm hoping that he can come in and be competent, but that's the only guy that comes to mind that would be like a surprise because they brought him in this offseason.
Okay. Hey, that's fair. DeAndre Baker's in a fight.
I wouldn't be surprised though. Like I
think a lot of people would though.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people would.
Okay.
Former first rounder. I don't know. Thank you, Micah. Appreciate you. I know you spoke to on Madden 23 runs, but 5 out of the 10 top edge rushers are in the AFC West. Yeah, that's tough.
Close to being true though. Yeah, so that at least is close.
It's tough. And that reflects reality. So I mean, good for them on that one. I don't know about if they watched Tyrant film last year or nothing. Nobody can watch everything, I guess. I can't. Like Pacheco looks like a second coming of Jamal Charles, but I think he'll get a chance to carry the ball any. Mr. Phil, I don't think so. It's going to be a long stretch. If he makes the roster, it'll probably be just as the returner. He'll just be so far down the depth chart. Several guys would have to get hurt. But that said, as the year goes on, it might get more likely because they've had attrition in the last several years. I think he ends up – I hope that he makes the 53.
I'd like to see him make it.
If not, he'll end up on the practice squad. And he'll be able to be called up, and that could still, because of the attrition, that could still happen. But I don't think he's going to get a ton of touches. Brian, thank you for the support, buddy. Appreciate you. Orlando Brown holding out has no meaning except to show how selfish he is. There is no negotiation until next year. His team ended it early. I was surprised by that too. When they're coming out, with 6 hours left on the deadline saying we can't reach a decision. Like that's just flexing. That's silly, and that's a rookie agent is what that is.
Yeah, I agree.
Royce, how you liking the new house? So far, so good. Hopefully the picture's still hanging in. There's been a couple of big storms the last few days that have kind of knocked around my stuff. So I don't know. I think Brown will show up. Maybe not day one, but he knows what spot he's in. 16 million. Yeah. I mean, he'll make more in the first 6 games than he has his whole career yet.
Yep. So. That's at the end of the day, that's what he's worried about. Like he wants his money. And I understand that. Yeah. And you're not going to sit out games that are guaranteed when you sign the contract, the tender to miss just because he's trying to make a point that he actually can't make. I'm sorry. I really don't think he has any leverage, and people think he does. And I just don't see how he could.
I doubt it too. Daryl, thank you for the support. We appreciate you, sir. Jeremy, we all need to get together at Arrowhead this year. I'm from Southern Virginia, so I'll bring some Sweet Creek water. I like that. I need to brew with that. Last time I came out here, I did get a quarter of an Arrowhead feeling good. Hey, sounds like you passed it around pretty good there, but I'm down. I'm not going to be able to make it till later in the year, if at all.
I'll be at the Bills game.
Bills game. That's week 5, yes, or 7?
I think it's 5 again because it was 5 last year.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I like it when they give him the prime number games.
Yeah.
Tom, thank you for the support, my friend. Do you think that Andy Reid will let his team play pissed off and leave the gas pedal on for an entire game, not care what it says to the league? No. I want to. If I was Eric Bieniemy, I'd be screaming at him every game.
The one thing I won't miss, no offense, Andy, the one thing I won't miss is that I think Patrick could put 60 on a team if he just let it go.
Yeah.
And I want to see it.
I know.
I want to see it.
Right. And I think that's what Andy is Andy doesn't want to see that. He doesn't want to embarrass other guys that maybe next free agent period or the period after that, he has to try to come talk into playing for him.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of what it comes down to. But thank you, Tom. Cody, what's your most anticipated Chiefs game of the season? Ooh.
There's money on the roster.
Bills are right up there, but I got to think it's the Bengals. I'm tired of hearing Bengals.
There's that, and I'm also really looking forward to the Rams game.
Yeah, I'm with you. Red, is it just me being too excited, or does the O have a good chance to be really, really good?
They definitely do.
It really does. It really, really does. It's going to take some heroics from time to time, but it could really be indefensibly good. Like that's the thing.
That's what they were trying to accomplish. And no offense to Tyreek, like that's what they're trying to accomplish right now is to make an offense with Patrick Mahomes at the helm that you can't just put a lid on. And I know that Tyreek they could have done that with Tyreek, but I think that they're trying to make a point as well as revamp their roster for the future going forward, because they got what they could out of Tyreek. They traded him away, got more assets, and they're looking to get younger as well. So we'll see.
Daryl, thanks for the update. It is week 6.
Okay.
Thank you, Daryl. Mr. Phil, thank you. Do you think that Brown will sign the franchise tag this year? Yes, absolutely. I think it'll be signed here within the next 2 weeks. I don't know that he walks in on the 26th like he's supposed to, but I don't think it's going to be long. I just don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah, me too.
Cooler heads will prevail. Flapjack, thank you, sir. Appreciate your support. If Patrick Mahomes and Tyreek Hill were going Johnny Depp and Amber Heard, who would be Johnny Depp and who would be Amber Heard?
I think we all know the answer to this question, because Patrick hasn't done anything wrong. So you can infer the answer to that question without me answering the question up front.
I'm glad you had an answer because I didn't pay attention to that. I don't know what happened. I just don't care.
Yeah.
Celebrity problems are celebrity problems, not my issue. What do you think of Colisandro's chances of making the roster? He's on the roster. Unless he gets injured, he will be on the roster.
I do not think so.
I think he has to be. They only have 5 defensive tackles, man.
I only think they're keeping 4.
I don't think so. I don't think they can go into a season with only 4 D tackles. I mean, Chris has missed, 2 or 3 games this season the last couple of years? Noddy's, as much as I love Derek Noddy, Derek, I love you, but you're one-dimensional.
I hope they keep 5, but there is a world with all the defensive backs that they have that they only keep 4 defensive tackles.
In a world where there's no defensive tackles. Mr. Phil, those are our opinions. We'll see who's right, and you can call Dan out when he's wrong. Dre, is it me or is everyone hyping the Chargers up way too much? Well, I mean, it is the preseason. That's kind of what they do.
Yes, this is it's the offseason, right? The Chargers win the offseason every single year, so it's right on schedule.
Yeah, right. Like I'm actually, I watched like the transition thing without Kay and without Nate on Good Morning Football, and I was like, wow, they're not bashing the Chiefs yet. And they're really not pumping the Chargers up that much. I was like, hey, look what happened. Yeah. Hey, Dre, thanks for the question and good to see you back. Everybody here in Colorado, we're going to have to get together at some point and watch a ball game. I know a couple of people have been pushing for that, but I'm determined to make it happen this year. Who do you guys think will miss the playoffs this year in the AFC West? So you, like King J, think that 3 teams from the West could make it. I agree with you.
I think they will.
I think the Raiders miss.
I also think the Raiders miss, but I don't rule out the Broncos.
Okay. I don't trust McMinney.
Yeah, I don't either. I do think it's going to be the Raiders, but I'm not sold yet. I think Denver could be really good, but we'll see.
Okay, that's fine. And Josh, if you're watching, call me up. We can talk about it. Once Spags' contract expires, does he sign an extension or do we find a new DC? And if we find a new DC, who would you like to see us hire of the coordinators in the league right now? I do not think he gets extended. I think Steve Spagnuolo will become a head coach or he will retire. And I think you have Cullen in-house to become that next in line if they choose to do it.
Okay.
I don't know that they feel Daly's there. I think he has it in him. I'm not sure they feel that he's ready yet.
I think that's the move to linebacker coach right now.
Exactly.
They were like, you need some experience elsewhere. And
quite frankly, he's got to get an eye to the secondary as well. This is a passing league and a passing game. You got to get there. I will say this till my dying day. Rex Ryan should be a defensive coordinator in the league again. He's just crazy enough to make it work. He should never be a head coach again. But other than that, I also like, did Fangino get a job?
I thought he did. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know how Fangio couldn't get a job. The dude is one of the best defensive minds in the NFL. So I'm pretty sure he's somewhere. I off the top of my head, I can't remember.
And I'll tell you guys this. When the Staley experiment is done as a head coach, go get him as a DC.
Oh, yes.
Right?
This could be a very interesting year for him if he keeps making some 4th down decisions that don't work out for them. He could find himself on the hot seat, especially if the same thing happens this year that it did last year, where they get beat in the final game of the season and miss the playoffs. Like, we're talking about some real repercussions for your actions. But oh my gosh, he is a phenomenal defensive mind.
If that happens, the storyline will become the wasting of years of Herbert's career. The thing that we talked about don't do with Patrick Mahomes, they're doing to Justin Herbert. Austin Klein, thank you. Hey, boys, love the show. Thanks for the support, buddy. What do you guys think about us picking up Carl Nassib? Did he get released?
He did. He wasn't signed by anybody this offseason either. So
I didn't realize that.
Honestly, I'd be all for it. I don't think he's a bad player. He would help your depth, and I know that he was at least somewhat productive with the Raiders. So I'd be all for Carl Nassib being a backup defensive end.
Yeah, I like it. I think if there's a head coach that can support an openly gay player in this league, it's Andy Reid.
I agree.
And and I wasn't a big fan of Carl coming out.
No,
he was all right. My favorite thing about Carl Nassib is the way he talked to Todd Haley. But other than that, I say why not? I think it's a new era, and I think they should go for it. So,
yep.
Let's see. We got a couple more folks, and we will wrap her up. Tom, thank you again. Favorite Chiefs memory. Give you the date, November 11th, 1990. DT with a mic drop. 1990. I'm sorry. I wasn't in college yet. I was still sober. Okay.
I was about to
say. No, that was one of my best playing years. So I really don't know. Do you know, Dan? Tom, hit us with details and I'll put it up.
Sorry, Tom.
Canadian Chief, my best Chief memory was getting field pass for Monday Night Football versus Seattle. Nice. Also meeting Mr. Hunt Sr. Oh, that's awesome. Love that I was a Canadian fan. That's awesome. In the elevator going up to the press box before the game. I love hearing that. And I never got to meet Lamar Jr. Lamar. But he is the reason, by the way. He's the guy who had the brainstorm for the international series to take the game outside of North America. So I'm sure he loved that you were a Canadian fan. That's awesome. James Wilkins, thank you, sir. Appreciate you very much. I hope everything's working out with the NFL 33 subscription as well. Thank you for doing that. Not a problem either way, but shout if you need something. Micah, been asking you for years now, but when are you going to watch a game with this, the official Denver Chiefs bar, Dons? Hi, Miss Avery. How are you? So energetic. Make me feel so old. It's awesome. So much better than my kids. I got to show you what I tried to do with my kids when I first started the channel. It's crazy. Micah, I will definitely try to do that. And I just realized that Bye, night. There's a lot more fans and a couple fans that I didn't know that were in Colorado that are. So we will try to do that. We just have to pick a game that isn't very important, because if I go to Don's, I'm not coming out of there able to podcast. So that's the key, Micah. Let's find a game that we're pretty sure is in the bag so that I can get in the bag. It's kind of the wife's job to drive me around at that point. Last one for me, brutally honest. Thornhill prediction.
Plays like a Pro Bowl season, but he won't make it because no one knows his name.
I agree. I think he'll have a career year in passes defensed, takeaways. He'll also have a small uptick in missed tackles because he's going to be trying to make a point. But he won't be an all-pro.
Yeah, I agree.
Brandon Hunt, I hope you're getting the support you need. I'm not sure what you're talking about, but we're here for you, buddy. Hope you're doing well. Gooch, thank you, buddy. Glad you made it. Jumped out of a meeting to say, let's go, Rogue. And I'm glad that you did, Gooch. Hope you're doing well. And to ask you if Powell makes our practice squad this year, or does he make another teams this year?
You won't have to worry about it. He'll be on the roster.
I'll answer it another way, Gooch. It is a good thing. Like, getting cut from a team that is this good at a position does make you more interesting in the eyes of other teams. So if it does happen, he might not make it to the practice squad. But Dan's optimistic, so we're going to roll with it. Tom, thank you. Oh, that was in 90?
Wow.
Oh, my Lord. I thought that was 92 or 93. Wow. Great job, Tom, and I'm glad you were there. We're going to sit down over beers. You're going to tell me all about that at one point. Brandon, you had a question. Who's better, Tom Brady or Patrick? Forget teams they play. Just straight up, whose talent is better?
It's not close. It's Patrick. Patrick's he might be the most talented quarterback to ever play the game. Like, I think he, Aaron Rodgers, Dan Marino, those are the three guys that we're talking about. I might be able to put Josh Allen in there depending on the situation. But those three guys, like, that's who we're talking about.
Mahomes has the better arm. He has the better legs. He has the better resiliency in terms of physicality. Tom is better mentally pre-snap, but Tom also has a decade and a half on him.
Yeah.
So we could see that progression as well. But yeah, it is definitely all the physical traits are in Patrick's domain.
Mhm.
And I think Patrick is a more approachable leader from guys that I've talked to.
I can understand that. Yeah. You have to drive with Tom Brady's way. It's really his way or the highway. And I think that Mahomes is more of a, okay, we'll see what we can do kind of guy.
Yeah, he's more pliable.
Yeah.
He's a different kind of leader. But there are similarities there. Daniel Collier, right now, the Chiefs have their 7 main picks. No, they traded away 1, and they have acquired 3 extra between Tyreek Hill and Ryan Poles hiring, so they should be at 10.
Yeah.
No, 9.
9. I think 9
minus 1 plus 3, 9. Yeah. And James Davis, no, they report tomorrow. They will not practice tomorrow. We should hear from Andy Reid for the first time in a while tomorrow. And then over the weekend, they start. I don't know if we get to see them until Monday. I'll have to check.
Monday or Tuesday, yeah.
I think there's a media only, but I can't remember if it's Sunday or Monday. So we'll let you know. That's going to do it for us tonight, folks. Thanks for being here. Hope we got all of your questions. Thank you to all the supporters. Spread the word, like this video, and sub to the channel. Those are the big things that drive the YouTube algorithm. We hope that you guys are having fun. I will have a report for you tomorrow after they report, just in case anything happens. Appreciate you guys being here. And don't miss Rogue Head Huddle. And we got a couple other things coming for you as we get back into season form. And we keep adding a couple of different topics. So I'm pretty excited about it. Hope you guys are ready. Thanks for being with us tonight. Thank you, Dan. I know you got to put Avery down, but anything else that I missed?
No, I think we're good. This is going to be fun. Just get ready, guys. We're almost at that point where we get to watch football forever until March. Like it's right here.
Oh, go subscribe over at NFL 33 so you can see what else is going around the league, because we're going to cover that as well. And we have some guys that are joining us. I think you guys are going to really dig. You don't have to join the paid ones if you don't want. Those are kind of the bonus deals. Just get subscribed for free and get over there. Check out Back Talk Bros with Stevie and Gooch and Aaron. Let's see. Go sub to Big Chief Sean. And yeah, we'll be back at you. Have a good night. Talk to you next time.